What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant. And before we get started, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. As well, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, my favorite part, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always intrigued with what you all think about these topics. And ladies and gentlemen, I might upset a few of my political connects with this video. So I just want to throw a disclaimer out there right here, right now. Caitlin Clark is phenomenal. One of my favorite basketball players, not just in the WNBA, but period. But I have some criticisms, much like I do with any of my favorite players. I have some criticisms about some of the shortcomings in her game. So just want to throw that out there as a disclaimer. I do like Caitlin Clark, but we got to honor somebody of Sheryl Swoopes' status. You got to honor her, you know what I mean? Her role in the game. What she experienced, was a part of the first four WNBA champions, all things considered, because the Houston Comets were a dynasty. They're one of the only teams, I believe, in sports history to have four-peated. So when Sheryl Swoopes speaks, I'll listen. You know, she's been regarded as probably the Michael Jordan of her sport, her profession, if not, the Michael Jordan, one of the greatest ever, for sure. Can't argue against that. She has some comments about one Caitlin Clark. And I know beforehand, she spoke very highly of Caitlin Clark. She has spoken to Caitlin Clark directly back when Caitlin Clark was in college. As you can see in this this particular photo comes from an article that I read way back ago. I had it in my archives where Sheryl Swoopes was, giving Caitlin Clark her praise. Just do. I think it was around the time. I don't know if Caitlin Clark had passed her up in points in college or something like that. It was something like that Caitlin Clark did in college. Sheryl Swoopes came out and gave commentary on it. But she recently gave some updates on her commentary, and I don't think she said anything bad or wrong. But Sheryl Swoopes feels that Caitlin Clark has not exactly lived up to the hype. Not that she has been a bad player, as she has set some records in her very short stint as a professional basketball player, already owning the record of, I believe, the most assists in the game, first rookie to have a triple-double. And I know, amongst other things, I think she's the first rookie to get to 400 points and 200 assists or something like that. But all credit due to her and all that kind of stuff. But I agree with Sheryl Swoopes when she says that Caitlin Clark, as far as the hype that was surrounding her, hasn't really lived up to it. And I only say that because there are some glaring flaws in Caitlin Clark's game, whether you agree or not. If you don't agree, I can't just take it serious. It's flaws in everybody's game. The thing about Caitlin Clark that you have to give her some leeway and some bail on is that she is a rookie. She is still getting acclimated to the game. But as far as how the media was hyping her up as the greatest basketball player ever, the greatest, the go to college, all of that talk has kind of dissipated over time because Caitlin Clark has had some glaring flaws in her game. Let's not, I don't bring up her turnovers to try to knock on her or hate her or anything like that, but there is a very real acknowledgement that has to be made towards that. I hate when people, excuse me, this is for a generality. I hate when people try to, bring up something like as in a positive when it comes to sports anyway. Excuse me. I hate when sports fans bring up a positive about their favorite athlete, but don't acknowledge the negatives. Not that the negatives make them any less of a player or anything like that. It's just when you bring up all of the positives, then of course we can sit here and placate all day. But when we bring up the flaws and how these athletes were able to overcome their flaws because they're so great, they worked on those flaws and increased in that or improved in that area of their craft. We acknowledge that it takes greatness to do that. It takes greatness to acknowledge that, and it takes greatness to execute that. I believe that Caitlin Clark will do so. But following up all of the hype that she had come into the league, I believe that she's had a number of duds, games where she just didn't look like anything like herself, and games where she gotten locked up. As far as the defense goes from the opposition, they've been able to figure her out. Sheryl Swoopes also said um, she doesn't believe that Caitlin Clark is the rookie of the year. She believes that Angel Reese is, and it's primarily because Angel Reese has had more of a team impact, and also she's doing more with less. Caitlin Clark has had two All Stars, and Sheryl Swoopes argues. I don't know if I'll go this far, but when she really think about it, if you're a true basketball fan and you don't just watch the game, you know the game, you got to kind of put this in the wash, in the sense of would Indiana still be a playoff team without Caitlin Clark? Because that's what Sheryl Swoopes believes. Sheryl Swoopes believes that the Indiana Fever, because they have two All Star players, one being Kelsey Mitchell, a standout guard and veteran in the WNBA, has been doing her thing for years, and then you got the reigning rookie of the year in her sophomore season in Aaliyah Boston, who on any given night can give you Asia Wilson type production. I've seen and in fact, the last regular season game that the Indiana Fever had, Asia Wilson, Aaliyah Boston had like 28 points. I forget, like 8 rebounds, so not exactly Asia Wilson-ish, but Asia Wilson-ish, if you know what I'm saying. If you're looking at as far as team impact, Caitlin Clark has the luxury of playing with two other All-Stars, and one could argue that she has better role players as well. Now, I'm not exactly familiar with everybody that's on the Indiana Fever right now. And they've been on their All Star Olympic break for about a week or two now, so I haven't even, I got to kind of watch these games often to keep up with these young ladies. But Sheryl Swoopes is the one that argues the case, and that's why I say I really think I'm really still thinking about it, but I'm leaning towards her opinion. And also because I'm a Chicago Sky fan, I know exactly what we have. The Indiana Fever definitely have a better roster than we have. All things considered, if you put if you put Angel Reese on the Indiana Fever, her and Aaliyah Boston would be reigning terror. In fact, we thought Camila Cardoso, disclaimer, she's coming off an injury. She started the season injured. But we all projected Camila Cardoso being the number two. What was she, the number two or number three pick? We all projected her to come into the league like Aaliyah Boston did. Also, she's a South Carolina Gamecock like Aaliyah Boston, so they usually come in, as well as Asia Wilson, they usually come in with a spark. But a disclaimer again, just a caveat, Camilla Cardoso has come or started this season injured, so it may take her a little bit more time to get acquiesced. But I believe truly if you put Caitlin Clark on the Chicago Sky, they are not as good as they are right now. In fact, the number of games Angel Reese has been clutch for us down in the fourth quarter, and able to help us squeak some games through. Caitlin Clark, I'm not going to take any credit away from her as far as doing what she had to do to get team wins, but she's had more big games, big scoring games that resulted in a loss then she's had big scoring games that's resulted in a victory. And I'm not sure how, whether that translates in the grand scheme of things, but Sheryl Swoopes has shared my take in the sense that Aaliyah Boston, excuse me, Angel Reese is the rightful Rookie of the Year leading candidate as of right now, considering what she does and contributes to the team. Also, she is averaging a double double, something that Caitlin Clark is not, albeit Caitlin Clark is leading the WNBA in assist. Angel Reese is averaging a double double, ladies and gentlemen, at 13 and a half points and 11. I think 11. I can't remember the point, but it's 11 point something rebounds. Doing her thing once again. Now, I'm saying the same thing as far as when I'm judging these two young ladies and what they do on the basketball court. Caitlin Clark is an individual phenomenon. She can get her bucket. She don't always hit the buckets, but she can get her bucket. But again, a lot of times I've seen her put up these big scoring games, and she disappears in the fourth quarter. She'll get a lot of her points in the first half and some stuff in the third. Maybe a bucket or two in the fourth, some free throws, but. And to her credit, this last game, the game before last against the Minnesota Lynx, she went in there and did her thing. It was a good statement game for her, but it was big production from Kelsey Martin and Aaliyah Boston in that game as well. It wasn't just all Caitlin Clark, which is why I got to really think about it. Like shucks, Aaliyah Boston is a beast. I think I'm strongly leaning towards Indiana Fever still being a playoff team without Caitlin Clark, and it's only because Aaliyah Boston is such a a high quality player, just in my opinion. But yeah, man. I mean, when Sheryl Swoopes speaks, God listens. I think she's definitely coming from a place not of hating or nothing like that. It's just a point of being a legend in the game and being able to evaluate the game from a different scope. I'm really growing tired of people that have played in the NBA but come out and say the silliest and craziest things. One being Gilbert Arenas, just be wilding, you know what I mean? But he'll run to that. I'm an NBA player, so my opinion is valid. It's like, nah, bro, nah. I can't. We can't always depend on these dudes or ladies, to keep it 100. But I don't feel like Sheryl Swoopes, again, is coming from a place of hating or nothing like that. I think just evaluating the game, Caitlin Clark hasn't really lived up to the hype. If we're going to be real, it's not as much hype around Caitlin Clark right now as it was 2 or 3 months ago. And, to her credit, she has produced, like I said, I love her game. I love what she's accomplished so far. She's going to be a phenomenon one way or the other. I think she might have to play more of that Kelsey Plum, Sabrina Ionescu role, may have to team up with an Angel Reese-like player, a dominant. Nah, that's cap because she got Aaliyah Boston. So her and Aaliyah Boston definitely could develop into something like an Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, or Brittany Stewart, and Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu type combination. I'm not putting 100% all of the weight on, her flaws, you know what I mean? But I have to be, fair. And Angel Reese too. Angel Reese has had some crazy games. I got videos right now highlighting how Angel Reese has gone out of her way to stat pad a few times, which is nasty work to me. So, I'm not saying she is excluded from criticism by any means. But as far as team production, as far as contributions to wins, and especially what I'm looking at from these two rookies is are they present in the fourth quarter? Again, Angel Reese is usually doing her most work somewhere in that fourth quarter, whether it's picking up the dirtiest rebounds she got to get, or scoring a couple clutch buckets, or making a defensive play. Angel Reese has made some plays, for the Chicago Sky. And, we are 10-14. I say we because I'm a Chicago Sky fan. We are 10-14, and I can easily say that Angel Reese's contributions has gotten us 3 or 4 of those wins. Kennedy Carter has pretty much been carrying us, and unfortunately, Marina Mabry is no longer with the team, but she's been a sharpshooter for us. But Angel Reese is right there in the mix. If she's not the first option for our team, she's definitely the second option. Caitlin Clark is always the first option, and there's no reason in the world why Angel Reese is just as productive as her. On a night-to-night basis. But again, these are Sheryl Swoopes comments, ladies and gentlemen. I do concur with again 85% of it. Still hesitant to say that the Indiana Fever would be a playoff team without Caitlin Clark. I'm a little hesitant to say that much, but I'm right there lockstep with everything else Sheryl Swoopes says. And again, disclaimer, I believe that Caitlin Clark is going to be a great player. I believe that she is the truth, that she has the skill set to be everything the media has hyped her up to be, but we got to realize that the media, man, that's their job. I guess you could call it a job. That's their shtick. They freaking just overhype everything, overtalk everything, oversaturate everything. It's on us to decide if it's the truth or if it's even worth listening to, at the end of the day. Shout out to CC. Shout out to Miss Sheryl Swoopes, the legend. That's all I got for y'all on this one. Please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily. Stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, man, my favorite part of the game, please leave y'all's thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always interested to know what y'all have to say about these topics. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.